it's my review of Mockingjay Part 1 and my interviews on the red carpet of the Mockingjay premiere.
I have a message for President Snow. If we burn, you burn with us!
So as you may or may not know, I am a big fan of the Hunger Games. I have read all the books. We've done a number of videos on the subject. We've done top changes from book to movie for both Hunger Games and Catching Fire, as well as a 45-minute documentary on Catching Fire. And now, finally, we're getting Mockingjay Part 1. And I got to see it, and oh my gosh, I really, really, really enjoyed it. So Mockingjay Part 1 takes place with Katniss in District 13 in this underground elaborate bunker, and she is in the heart of the rebellion, and she has to make the choice of whether or not to be their symbol, the Mockingjay, to help fan the flames of this rebellion and uprising. As a book reader, I really liked Mockingjay Part 1 a lot. In fact, I think these movies just keep getting better, okay? And I think part of that is Francis Lawrence, the director. I think he's done an amazing job with this series. And I do feel like this movie may rub some people the wrong way because it isn't as concerned with entertaining you as the last one was. This one is a lot darker. It's more of a war film. Even though this movie takes place in the future, it features a lot of modern warfare tactics. It talks about bombings, you have post-traumatic stress disorder, you have psychological warfare as well as propaganda and the role of propaganda in warfare. It even shows the districts, which isn't in the book, and their uprisings and things that they're doing to terrorize the capital. And one thing I really liked about this movie is the fact that it doesn't romanticize war. It is very realistic in its portrayal, as much as you can be in a movie. It's not like, Call of Duty where it's like, oh, all right, whatever, okay, great, I'm happy. They're really trying to show you the horrors of war and the psychological impact these things have on people and how you become changed. You're a changed person. You don't come out of these things the same as you were. And the thing about this movie is that there aren't really any scenes that you're like, oh man, I just really love this scene, because it's just very like, the movie just goes, just goes and goes and goes, and it's not a fun movie. It's a very, very dark movie. And I think that a lot of people might not enjoy this movie as much as the other ones because it doesn't have a normal movie structure. Most movies have a beginning, middle, and an end. This movie has a middle, and a middle. And I know that might be frustrating for some of you out there, but as a book reader, let me tell you that this is totally worth it, okay? This is gonna be a slow build to this amazing climax that's coming next year with Mockingjay Part 2. That being said, I just really love this movie. I think that each one gets better and better and better, and I can't wait to see the next one. And this movie is gonna be, people are gonna enjoy this movie a lot more when they can watch both Part 1 and Part 2 together. I'm definitely concerned that people aren't going to enjoy this film as much because it is very much the half of the book and half of a movie. I'm here at the Mockingjay Part 1 premiere in my capital finest, but today we're going to try and see what stars we can get. We're going to try to get some awesome interviews. I got my eye on you, Donald Sutherland. What is it about the Hunger Games series you think that has struck such a chord with audiences around the world?
Well, I think that the stories are important stories in that they talk about political themes, social themes that are relevant in the world. But at the same time, the essence of these stories is friendship, loyalty, family, love, and colorful hair.
The Hunger Games series presents a culture in decline akin to the fall of the Roman Empire, which seems highly relevant to our society today. Are you optimistic about our future? Do you feel like the Hunger Games is a warning or more of a mirror?
I definitely think it's more of a thematic mirror. I think it definitely feels relevant now, but unfortunately it's something that could have been relevant, for 2,000 years. I mean, there's always been war, we've always been fighting, there's always been consequences, there's always been people damaged because of it. It's an unfortunate thing, but that's what these movies deal with.
Well, I think one of the things that's extraordinary about the books and what Susan Collins has written is that it's kind of genderless. There are a lot of roles that might have been played by men that are played by women. There are female presidents, there's a female protagonist. I think it's pretty exciting and a great example for young women.
Thank you, guys.
I love doing an ideal husband.
I just love Effie. Really, that's all it comes down to. I think she's a fabulous person. She's got a big, big heart, and she has a hard time showing it, but when she does, I think it's really wonderful.
Thank you so much. You brought so much to the character. I love your version of Effie. Thank you. I'm here with Erica Bierman. Erica, have you seen the movie yet?
No, but I'm really excited.
Also, do you watch YouTube videos?
Yes.
What's your favorite YouTuber?
He was like, I could smell him, and I was like, oh my gosh. Like, just right there. Like, I went like this in one of my interviews back, and I went, oh my god. And I almost started crying, because I've watched his videos for so long. I can see him from here, oh my gosh.
You should go talk to him.
I can't. That would be unprofessional.
I'm here with Nina Jacobson, the producer of all of the Hunger Games movies. What was it about this book series that made you decide to bring this to life in such an incredible way?
Candace was just one of those unforgettable characters, like once-in-a-lifetime character that she's so human and complex, and she steps up with what is initially a very intuitive choice to protect her sister and ends up leading, a revolution and being the face of social change, and I found that irresistible.
What do you think about the Hunger Games is it that has struck such a chord with audiences around the world?
I think the material really speaks to a lot of things that are troubling us as a country and as a culture around the world right now, whether it's the gap between the 1% and the 99%, the consumption of tragedy as entertainment, the sort of commercialism of violence, and the consequences of violence, and the fact that you don't come back from a war the same person you went in, and you don't face the sort of adversity that so many people face without being changed by it. I think it's a call to arms. I think it's a call to action. I think it is. You look at Katniss, and by stepping up and by doing what she thinks is right, even when she feels like she can't, or even when she feels broken by it, but by kind of, refusing to be passive and refusing to be a coward, by sort of standing up to the challenge, she changes her country and she changes the outcome. And it's at great cost, but I think it is a reminder of the power of young people, and that little choices bit by bit can add up to a heroic outcome. And we need it. We need people to step up in any way they can, with their vote, with their feet, with their actions, and I hope the movies are a call to action.
And in the books, I know they really focus, Suzanne Collins really focuses on the effects, like you were saying, of war. And how important was it for you guys to really showcase the realities of war instead of glorifying combat in this movie?
I think that was very important to us. I think oftentimes in movies that have action in them, the characters come out and they just sort of dust themselves off and they're fine.
Yeah.
And I think this movie really shows, this is the natural evolution of, as the second one was to the first, this one is to those first two, of what are the effects and what happens to people when they experience these kinds of things, and that it's very hard, it's very challenging, and yet their humanity persists, and they're still able to make choices that, that could change their country, even when those are very hard choices to make.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Nina, and congratulations on having such an amazing success with the Hunger Games trilogy.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Ours is an elegant system, conceived to nourish and protect. Your districts are the body. The capital is the beating heart.
If I had had to pick what my favorite part of this movie is, I would have to say I really enjoyed seeing the propaganda war between the rebellion and the Capitol. This movie does a great job of showing the role of propaganda in warfare and how you see, you know, the rebels put up their thing and then the Capitol has their thing, and it's this little tete-a-tete back and forth, and it's just so interesting because you never really see this side of warfare. You really don't realize that this is something that goes on like all the time. And this movie does a really great job of showing you how leaders use propaganda to manipulate the masses for their own ends, good or bad. And this movie does a really excellent job of showing you that as a civilian, you really don't know what's going on because all of the information that is being fed to you is being spun, manipulated, it's versions of the truth, half-truths, whatever they are. It's not the whole truth. It's like, just don't put all your faith in what you read on Facebook, what you see on the news, on TV, or on what you read on blogs. So that's it for today, and I want to let everybody know that we are almost done with our calendar. We're at the very last 10%. It should be on sale very soon, and we will update you on all of our social media outlets such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, you should like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I know a lot of you out there have been asking me about Interstellar and whether or not we're going to do a review about it. And I want to tell you, yes, we do plan on doing a review about it, but not right now because we are trying to finish this calendar. We have got to buckle down and do this. In fact, I really shouldn't be doing this at all, but you know what? We had a great opportunity and I just had to talk about it.